Brooklyn Nets player Kyrie Irving is one of the NBA's most colorful players and is known for his antics both on and off the court. Irving was named Rookie of the Year after being selected by the Cleveland Cavaliers with the first overall pick in the 2011 NBA Draft. So stay tuned and don't go away, because we're about to reveal the most insane Kyrie Irving moments and whether or not he'll be wearing purple and gold in the new season. First up, who is the real Kyrie Irving? Let's take a look. Kyrie Irving is a complex, enigmatic figure in the world of professional basketball. He's a tough guy to figure out because he's known for so many things, both good and bad. He's wowed fans in packed arenas with some incredible performances over the years, while simultaneously leaving a bad taste in people's mouths for what could be best described as strange antics. After all, he is responsible for giving the NBA the elderly pickup legend Uncle Drew, and who can forget all those wacky flat earth comments. 1 year ago, Kyrie reportedly went off-grid and refused to suit up for the Brooklyn Nets with no reasons made public. Sports writer Jack Hamilton once wrote, "Kyrie is a player blessed with enormous basketball talents who's also cursed with a temperament that's existentially incompatible with the life of a pro athlete." Who could forget Irving's "I'm that great of a shooter" comment? Irving's time with the Boston Celtics doesn't really conjure up happy memories for Boston sports fans because of how the Celtics lost in the second round of the playoffs during Irving's first season with the franchise. The Milwaukee Bucks destroyed the Celtics in Game 4, and Irving even left the court before the final buzzer. During a postseason press conference, Irving said he should have taken more shots, even though he missed 15 out of 22 attempts on net. Irving proudly told reporters, "I'm that great of a shooter." Next up, does Kyrie Irving have Native American roots? Probably not, but it's easy to think why some fans might be confused. Who can forget the time that Irving burned sage at TD Garden? Yep, we're not kidding. In Irving's first return to the TD Garden against the Celtics, cameras were rolling as Kyrie could be seen walking casually around the arena burning sage. Seriously, you can't even make this stuff up. Sage burning is a traditional Native American ritual that is thought to rid spaces of negative energy or dark/evil spirits. After the game, Irving addressed reporters and said, "It just comes from a lot of native tribes. Just cleanse the energy. Want to make sure that we're all balanced." While most observers were scratching their heads with their mouths gaping open, Irving's teammates were essentially like, "Oh yeah, that's just Kyrie being Kyrie." Kevin Durant later explained to reporters that the sage burning wasn't a big deal and that it's just a Kyrie thing. Durant chuckled and jokingly said Kyrie sages his gaming room at home before playing NBA 2K, but everyone could tell that Durant wasn't joking and was actually serious. Hey, whatever works for you, Kyrie, do your thing, man. Who are we to judge? Up next, is it ever too late to say you're sorry? Let's find out. After losing to the Orlando Magic in the 2018-2019 season, Kyrie Irving reached out to LeBron James and apologized. Irving told reporters, "I wanted to be the guy that led us to a championship. I wanted to be the leader. I wanted to be all that." Later, Irving spoke candidly and admitted that he should have kept his criticism of his young teammates in-house after the loss. But Kyrie, as we know, is always unfiltered, and if something pops into his mind, you know he's just going to spit it out. That's how he rolls. Take, for instance, the recent COVID-19 pandemic and America's social and racial upheavals. The latter in particular had a profound impact on the men of the NBA, who, as we all know, are predominantly African American. Despite the tumultuous climate at the time, the men of the NBA nevertheless returned to their duties. But there's no way that Irving was going to do that quietly. Irving, who also is vice president of the National Basketball Players Association, led a conference call with roughly 80 NBA and WNBA players, which gave players the opportunity to voice their concerns over the current health risks and social unrest. Irving was against the idea of returning, but was willing to do whatever the majority decided. Irving felt the resumption of the 2019-2020 NBA season would only distract people from the fight against racial injustices and health risks, which were being largely underestimated by Americans at the time. Many NBA insiders and observers felt that Irving was being overly disruptive, something he's been accused of being in the past. Stay tuned and don't go away, because we're bringing you the latest NBA news. Next up, will Kyrie Irving play for the LA Lakers next year? It's a question everyone is asking. At the time of this recording, the Lakers and Nets are actively discussing a deal that would reunite LeBron James and Kyrie Irving. The Lakers and the Nets are discussing a trade package that would see Russell Westbrook sent to Brooklyn in exchange for Kyrie Irving. Yahoo Sports' Chris Haynes said there's palpable optimism that an agreement can be struck between the two sides this offseason, but there remain a few hurdles. According to Haynes, one of the ongoing talking points for the Nets is draft compensation, and it's clear that they want shooting guard Joe Harris. Harris is currently recovering from left ankle surgery, and the Lakers would prefer sharpshooter Seth Curry, who has a contract worth $8.5 million, and that's about to expire. The Nets have been listening to proposals from teams trying to make a play for Kevin Durant, who, as we know, requested a trade prior to the start of free agency. But right now, there's still a chance that Irving will be wearing blue and gold in the new season and will reunite with his old friend and teammate King James. What do you think? Is the Westbrook-Irving trade a good idea? I gotta say, it'd be nice to see Irving rock some blue and gold and share the court with James again. Up next, will Shaquille O'Neal be buying the Orlando Magic? Let's have a look. During a recent episode of the Big Podcast, Shaquille O'Neal announced that he's open to buying the Orlando Magic basketball team with his business partner and former teammate Dennis Scott. If you recall, O'Neal and Scott played together for the Magic in the 1990s, and O'Neal isn't a fan of the franchise's current direction. O'Neal didn't hold back and said, "We still run that franchise. If they want to sell it to us, DeVos family, we are ready to go right now." When the interviewer asked O'Neal if he and Scott would buy it, O'Neal responded simply, "Yeah." Scott then turned to O'Neal and said, "One of your billionaire friends step up with the money where your mouth is and let us run the show." O'Neal assured Scott that he and his cohorts have the funds to buy the team, and he again took the opportunity to address the DeVos family directly, saying, "This message goes out to the DeVos family. If you're ready to sell the Orlando Magic, sell it to somebody that's going to take it to the next level. That's us." O'Neal also revealed that he would hire Scott when putting together Magic's new management team, which makes sense considering Scott was the general manager for the Atlanta Division of the American Basketball Association. Back in 2013, O'Neal took a minority stake in the Kings, but sold his minority ownership position in January of 2022. It's no secret that the Orlando Magic haven't been playing their best basketball, and it's looking more like they're the Orlando Tragic. But if anyone can turn things around, it's Shaq. Shaq is a visionary. When he puts his mind to something, he does it. Finally, who is the best, worst, and most obnoxious NBA mascot? According to basketball fans, the best NBA mascot is the Denver Nuggets' Rocky the Mountain Lion. Fans give Rocky a 4-star rating out of 5. Yes, we love you, Rocky. Now, the worst NBA mascot, according to NBA fans, is the Mavs Man from the Dallas Mavericks. Fans gave the Mavs Man a star rating of 1.69 out of 5. Sorry, Mavs Man, maybe next year. However, in the Mavericks' defense, they do have Champ, an alternate mascot, and Champ is ranked among the NBA's top 5 mascots. Now that you know who the NBA's best and worst mascots are, according to fans, which mascot do fans think is the most obnoxious? Lucky the Leprechaun of the Boston Celtics has been named by fans as the #1 most obnoxious mascot. The Mavs Man sits at number 2, and Gee Whiz from the Washington Wizards sits at number 3. According to fans, the most obnoxious mascots taking the number 4 and number 5 spots are Stuff the Magic Dragon of the Orlando Magic and Go the Gorilla of the Phoenix Suns, respectively. Do you agree with the fans' mascot rankings? I think the rankings are pretty accurate. If you disagree, who do you think is the best, worst, and most obnoxious NBA mascot? That's a wrap for today's video. Thank you for watching.